So let's look at example 3. It says determine the formulas for the functions from values given in the table below. So we've got two different equations going on here. So first, let's just focus on f of x. So don't do this to your paper, but don't worry about this right now, okay? So when we look at this paper, look at these two columns here, we're going to try to write the equation for f of x. So we need to know two things. So remember, our equation is a times b to the x. So we need to know a, which is our initial value. Which remember is when x equals 0. And we need to know b, which is our base, which is actually going to be a pattern that we should be able to find. So for f of x, what is my initial value? Where can I find that on here? When x is 0, so what is it? The 3. Now to find my base, I need to find a pattern. And it's hard to find the pattern with a bunch of fractions. So if you have whole numbers, look at them first. So how do you get from 3 to 6? Times 2, or we can say plus 3, right? Either one. But how do we get from 6 to 12? Plus 6, or? Which one do they have in common? Times 2. So we're actually going to use times 2. And you can check if you took 3/2 times 2, you would get 3, which is the next one. So our pattern does work. So it's going to be times 2. So knowing that, let's write our equation. So f of x equals, what was my a? 3 times, what is b? Raised to the what? X. Alright, so now let's look at g of x. So looking at g of x, what is my initial value? What was it? 5, because it's when x is 0. And what is my base? Well, again, look for your whole numbers. They're easier for y'all. How do we get from 20 to 10? Okay, divide by 2. And so what about 10 to 5? Same thing. And then you can see here, 5 to 5/2, it definitely has that divide by 2 in it, right? But I can't write divided by 2 here. So dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by what number? By 1/2. It's reciprocal, the reciprocal of 2, right? So my base, my pattern is going to be multiplying by 1/2. And so let's take that and let's write our equation. So g of x equals 5 times 1/2. Good, to the x. Alright, and then one other thing is, let's look at g of x. What's happening to your numbers? Are they getting bigger or smaller? Smaller. Do you know what that's called if something's getting smaller?
Subtraction.
It's subtraction. Actually, it's division or multiplying by a reciprocal, but it's called exponential decay. And what about f of x? What's happening to those numbers?
What's the other one? Exponential growth?
Yep, they're getting bigger, so this one has got exponential growth. It didn't ask us for it, but we're about to talk about it, so just a little preview there.